Guys, moving further with the flexible net flow architecture. Last session we have seen flow analytics with the grid fan analytics with the net flow example and benefits of that. So now we'll discuss about FNF, flexible net flow architecture. So it is a technology, a flow technology developed by Cisco Systems. The major key advantages of FNF, flexible net flow architecture, are flexibility, scalability, and aggregation of flow data. So when we say flexibility, we'll discuss each of the key advantages in detail. Flexible, as we can fit it, it can be adjustable to anywhere, or where we can add more and more sensors and smart objects in that network, so that we can have a network analytics using this FNF. So it is adaptable, so we can add whenever there is a need, and it is scalable too. Depends on the strength and other aspects, it is scalable FNF, and we can easily aggregate or merge and join the together different streams of data, flow data. There is aggregation of flow data. So that is one of the major advantage coming to the flexibility. The strength behind flexible net flow architecture is flexibility, scalability, and aggregation of flow data. Second, the advantage is the ability to monitor a wide range of packet for information. So various range of packet information and produce new information about network behavior. So over here, so one thing supposed to revisit once again, the range, in the sense the speed at which it may send the data strength or packet strength or the flow strength. So various formats in the various format of data transmission in the form of packets, there is a range at which the data can be transferred. So in the batches or in the groups based on the data, right? So that we can, using FNF, we can easily monitor that particular range of packet information. And so we can produce new information about network behavior, how well or how the network behaves based on this range of packet. So we have a special ability to monitor and generate new information about the behavior of the network based on if it is a more traffic, less traffic, congestion, delay, all those things comes under this particular part. So we have a ability via using FNF, flexible net flow architecture. So next point says enhanced network anomaly. So network anomaly and security detection. So we can increase the network strength whenever there is a need, that is enhanced, and we can easily have a security CRC or other set of infrastructure related, security infrastructure related things, so that we can easily have a security for our entire communication network. On the other hand, just to look after the Cisco Systems, one of the key organization under security as well. So they have this one FNF. So you can imagine the network capability and security related issues, how they can handle under Cisco. So next point says user configurable flow information. So we can configure based on our usage. So based on the request, based on the user level, for example, when we say user level, starting from lower cadre to upper cadre, based on the work structure. So we can analyze, we can have this user configurable flow information based on the user. So lower cadre may have only few privileges, the middle layer or in between, they may have some more in-depth knowledge about this network related information, and on the top they may have all kind of configurations. So that is how we can control user configurable flow information. So based on the usage, we can filter out the informations. So why we need to filter out? There is because performing customized traffic identification. On a say for example, so if you consider previous setup, for example with the fan. field area network. So based on one particular site, we can track each individual traffic identification. So how fast, how depth the traffic is, uh, traffic communication takes place between site 1 to the database, site 1 to site 2, or to the broker itself, so that we can easily trace out, so in which lane, which communication channel have more traffic, or whether there is a congestion, range of traffic, all those can be easily identifiable. And via using that technique can easily ability to focus and monitor specific network behavior on a one particular individual network. We can easily monitor, can have an monitoring eye on that individual networks. So consider within a single smart object, there may be a number of sensors. So to do with that, we may need to have a separate individual private area network for that particular single object, single smart object. So then we are going to connect to that single object with many number of smart objects. This is how this particular behavioral aspect is introduced with this, to monitor individual specific network behavior. Then we can have a convergence of multiple accounting technologies into one accounting mechanism to look after all those network related issues. So you can club multiple accounting technologies, multiple accounting capabilities under one accounting mechanism. Moving further, you can see in the architecture NetFlow overview, just to have a look after this. So here you can see routers. Please let us introduce individual components first, then we'll discuss in detail about the overview. So these are all IoT routers, router as a broker. Then we have a SCADA head end, NetFlow collectors over here. So this will manage with the network related informations. We'll collect it, and we have an AMI head end. So we'll discuss in detail about this particular. So in this diagram, we can see different FNF components, flexible net flow components. So we'll see one by one what it does. So FNF flow monitor or net flow cache. So here, please follow my cursor together. FNF cache, flexible net flow cache or net flow monitor. So this will perform the monitoring job. So what it will do? So you can see source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port number, layer 3 protocols, TOS byte, ingress interface, timestamp, length, and packet. So these are the data which is available in this FNF cache. FNF cache is nothing but FNF flow monitor, flexible net flow monitor. So when we say monitor, it has to maintain these many data. So what are those data? Source IP, who is the sender, their IP address, destination IP, the receiver's IP address, port number of source and destination port numbers, and layer 3, which protocol has been used. Then TOS byte, then ingress, whether it is a WPAN or Ethernet, based on the technique, based on the technology that we use. So this particular column. Then we have timestamp, then length of the packet. Sorry, length of the, there is a size of the packet. There is 512 bytes. Packet, number of packet, there is 23. So this is the data that has to be monitored. So in general, FNF monitor, which describes the information which is stored in the cache. So these are the information are stored in the FNF monitor cache. So now when we say there are something called key fields and non-key fields. So non-key fields are collected with the flow as attributes or characteristics of a flow. So based on the communication, so the data has been collected. So it is also called as flow exporter, because so these many data has to be sent, which contains information about the export of net flow information, including destination address of the net flow collector, so its address, because from this particular point, so data has to send to net flow collector. So till here, whatever the data has to be sent, so that is maintained in this FNF monitor or FNF cache. So it includes various other characteristics as well: time, size, and sampling rate, all those sampling rate, all those data. Then we have a FNF flow record. So this is FNF flexible net flow overview. So these are the record it's supposed to maintain. So it will, again, it will have key and non-key fields. So it will have source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port. Similar kind of information is available. So this is just to inform about flow record. This is about a flow record. Then we have a exporter, whoever receives on the other side. So then exporter can be maintained using commands, say show command in Unix. So using command line interface, CLI interface. So and also makes use of reporting tool. So it's almost similar to SNMP polling. And so this particular NetFlow exporter, NetFlow FNF exporter will allow us to perform the accessing of the data. So via using two different kind of approaches, using show command and the command line using an application tool. Show command we are very much familiar with, like in Unix, can make use of show databases. The command, if you type show databases, if you type in command prompt, to list out all the databases you already created in that particular environment. And then using CLI, there is command line interface, same thing. And then application report, you can have a dedicated application reporting tool to generate the data, to access the NetFlow data. Then we have flow export timers. So these timers indicates how often flows should be exported. There is a duration, at what time, there is any, something like a timer, like alarm. So you can set a alarm for every 5 hours, right? So that is how, so at that particular duration, what will be the flow? And it should be reported to the collection center or reporting server. Then we have a export format. So there is type of flow reporting format. So in what format it's supposed to report. Then we have a NetFlow server for collection and reporting. We have dedicated server over here. So it will do all those tasks. There is destination of the flow export. It is often done with the analytics tool that looks for anomalies in the traffic patterns. If there is any problem are generating in between, so it will report to that. Just we'll have a glance once again with the previous diagram. So here the SCADA head end will look after all those data. So now say for example, when a first packet of a flow is generated over here, first packet is obtained, so that particular packet has to send to via this particular pass. So that is FNF route. So this FNF router will have these many information, FNF cache information. Then towards NetFlow collector, it will be captured. So now while collecting the data, so whenever, so here there is some distribution happening. So what are those distributions? Because it has to verify what are the flow is happening in between, and we're supposed to have a copy of it. That's why these things are set up. So once we have this initialized the connection, so then remaining packets of this flow will only update statistics, that is bytes, number of byte, counter, and timestamps. So that is how it works. Flexible net flow works. So these are the components we listed out. FNF flow monitor's job is to maintain a table, so which will have source address, destination address, and type of service, then packets, size. So these are as in the form of cache. Then we have FNF flow record, which will maintain set of key and non-key field values which is used to characterize or differentiate with respect to NetFlow cache. Then we have an exporter. So exporter will have two different accessing methodology with respect to NetFlow data. Either one is show command, you can ask to show whatever the data type we have in that, is flows, network flow, data flow, using show command in the command line interface, command CLI, or using dedicated application reporting tool. Then we have export timers. So we can set up a timer to often indicate the flow of transmission. So flows should be exported to the collection or to the reporting server. Then we have NetFlow export format. So this is just indicates the type of flow reporting format. Then we have NetFlow server for collection and reporting. So this server's job is to collect all the information related with the destination and the data, the flow in the network, and supposed to report using any other tools. Reporting, what to report? Report in the sense, so if something happens with the transmission, traffic pattern, traffic congestion, delay, all those should be reported. Moving further, so as we know, FNF, flexible net flow, which is nothing but it is a multi-service for our IoT networks. So when we say multi-service, more than one service should be provided based on our network, whatever network we use. So in general, multi-service in the sense, for example, sometimes we may use low range LoRa wireless private area network, or LoRa wireless area network, LoRaPAN, LoRaWAN. Say, consider a situation. So we have a smart object, around 10 sensors are connected into that particular smart object. So while connecting smart object, the processor, to the endpoint, to the sensor, there should be a network, there should be a communication path. So what kind of technology we use? In general, it is nothing but LoRa PAN, there is a low range private area network in general as an example. So now we can connect these individual low range private area networks to the bigger network via using this FNF, flexible net flow, as we can have multi-service. So one type of net technology we already used, LoRa, low range private area network. Then n number of these individual LoRaPANs, low range private networks, can be connected to LoRaWANs, low range wireless area network, via using gateways. So now this is different kind of network setup, because LoRaWAN works in the principle of Ethernet standard, the other one works in the principle of either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, right? So this is how the different type of network strength. So using this flexible net flow, we can have this multi-service IoT networks. So to have a global view of all services flowing between the core network in the cloud and the IoT last mile network, FNF be configured on the routers that aggregate connections from the last mile router. This is what the point we discussed right now. So when we say IoT last mile network, last mile, last point or end point, nothing but individual sensors, right? So to have a network of this along with the processing, then we can configure the IoT FNF router to have or to club, to aggregate various connections. That's what we use the term multi-service. Different types of network technologies can be aggregated via using an FNF router. So if you see the previous example, we'll go back to the previous setup over here, a net flow. So here, consider this as, for time being, this as an example. Here I have an individual smart object which is having around 10 sensors. Please follow my cursor. This is having second smart object which is having another 10 setup. This is another one, and so on. So we have 6 individual smart object, each equipped with 10 sensors individually. So each 10 sensors are connected with this particular smart object via private area network. Then I will have a group of this one. So this group again, I will make it as another private area network. Then I will connect all these together to the outside world via using this particular FNF router. So now to enable this different kind of network technologies, so this is private, then wireless and private, right? 3 different kinds. That's why we use the term multi service. Okay, so now that can be configured using FNF routers. We can aggregate. Then, so FNF flexible net flow can also be configured on the last mile gateway or fog nodes to provide more granular visibility. What is this? So this is nothing but, so we can have FNF flexible net flow configuration even for our endpoints. So say, for example, whatever we took an example, one smart object may be connected with the 10 individual sensors. So we can have that 10 individual sensors under this particular criteria immediately. Then we can directly fetch the data via fog nodes so that we can have individual granular based visibility. We can have individual sensor data in that fog. But some of the restrictions again we have. Flow analysis at the gateway is not possible with all IoT systems. So based on the IoT system that we use, this is not possible for all the kind of IoT systems. So when it is not possible, because when we have LoRaWAN gateways, low range wireless area network gateways, we are just forwarding via MAC layer because we'll set up LoRaWAN in MAC layer only. So it is centralized under LoRaWAN network server. So we can't have this kind of setup over here. And again, we can have similar type of problem if we are implemented using an MQTT server. MQTT again publisher subscriber server with the broker service to be sent. So the server that sends data through an IoT broker. So again, we need the IoT broker in between so that we can't have this FNF setup, multi-service setup in this IoT system. So these are the some of the hiccups in this FNF NetFlow, FNF multi-service IoT network. So along with that, we have few more challenges. So challenges with the deploying flow analytics tools are, as we have distributed nature of fog and edge computing, it doesn't support flow analytics and visibility is thus lost. So one point is supposed to remember is when we have fog computing and edge computing, this is set up in distributed manner. So it doesn't support flow analytics because flow analytics should be kept in more low layer wise. So that's why it's a little bit difficult to have this kind of setup, flow networks. So if we doesn't have that particular capability, then the visibility is lost. Visibility about last mile connectivity, visibility about last mile connections, last mile networks. So all those things has been lost. And second challenge is irrespective of different versions IPv4 or IPv6. Sometimes we need the different interfaces to inspect inside VPN tunnels. So whenever we try to have a VPN tunnel, automatically it affects router's performance. It downgrades performance because of intervention in between the task of router. So that's why router's performance may decrease because meantime for every few seconds or few minutes, if you are trying to have a data from these routers, automatically router will downgrade its service. So that's how it works. Because of the technique that we use, IPv4, IPv6, by default we'll have that particular capability. So why are using that particular interface? So the performance may reduce. And we may have additional network management traffic, additional traffic because of FNF reporting devices. So when we have FNF reporting devices, for example, FNF servers, FNF gateways, so due to usage of those devices, we are generating little bit more network management traffic because of intermediate nodes, servers. So we may generate additional traffic. So that is one of the challenge to deal with that. However, we have enough flows, communication flows, enough traffic to look after. But still, if you have few more, then it will be an added burden. And so the added cost of increasing bandwidth needs to be reviewed. So whenever there is a huge traffic, congestion is more, then we can have automatically we can increase the bandwidth. But each and every time, if you try to go with this increase in bandwidth, so the added cost supposed to be revisited again. Because why we need to revisit? Because we have a backhaul network. So this backhaul network uses cellular or satellite communication, as we know, different technologies, 3G, 4G, based on service provider, right? So now when we have this one, what is the use of having this increasing bandwidth whenever we need? So again, headache or the pressure more on the FNF servers. So these are the challenges we may face when we are deploying our FNF structure with these flow analytic tools. So any doubt or any clarification you may ask? So we'll start with our next part, that is security. So any clarification, any